NFPA 70E, a standard for electrical safety in the workplace, does require the use of arc-rated clothing in certain situations. However, it does not specifically mandate that electricians wear Nomex or other fire-resistant clothing materials. Arc-rated clothing refers to garments designed to protect workers from the thermal hazards associated with electrical arcs. Fire-resistant clothing refers to materials that resist ignition and reduce the risk of burn injuries. It's important to understand the difference and how they relate to electrical safety. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration's on-site consultation program is a voluntary service that provides safety and health guidance to employers. It's crucial to remember that the Occupational Safety and Health Administration does not directly enforce NFPA 70E. However, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration may cite employers for violations of its own standards that are related to NFPA 70E requirements. Specifically, Occupational Safety and Health Administration Standard 29 Code of Federal Regulations 1910.132 requires employers to provide appropriate personal protective equipment to employees exposed to electrical hazards. While this standard does not explicitly specify the use of arc-rated clothing or fire-resistant clothing, it suggests that employers conduct a hazard assessment to determine the appropriate level of protection needed. Industry practice varies regarding the use of arc-rated clothing and fire-resistant clothing. Some employers require electricians to wear arc-rated clothing only when working on energized equipment, while others require it for any electrical work. Some electricians prefer to wear heavy, all-cotton clothing because they find it more comfortable and breathable. To determine the appropriate level of protection for a specific workplace, it is recommended to firstly conduct a hazard assessment to identify potential electrical hazards, secondly consult with electrical safety professionals and industry experts, and thirdly review relevant Occupational Safety and Health Administration and NFPA 70E standards. Based on these steps, one should make an informed decision based on the risks involved and the level of protection needed. Additional considerations include: firstly, considering the specific tasks performed by electricians and their potential exposure to electrical arcs. Secondly, ensuring that arc-rated clothing or fire-resistant clothing meets the appropriate arc rating for the hazards present. And thirdly, providing training to electricians and the use and maintenance of protective clothing. To further elaborate on hazard assessments, it's important to understand what factors should be considered. Firstly, the voltage levels of the electrical equipment being worked on should be assessed. Higher voltages pose a greater risk of arc flash and require a higher level of protection. Secondly, the potential fault current at the work location should be evaluated. Higher fault currents result in more severe arc flash incidents, necessitating more robust protective equipment. Thirdly, the working distance from energized equipment should be taken into account. Closer proximity to energized parts increases the risk of exposure to arc flash hazards. Fourthly, the type of task being performed should be considered. Certain tasks, such as racking breakers or working on switchgear, may carry a higher risk of arc flash than others. Fifthly, the presence of flammable materials in the work area should be assessed. Flammable materials can exacerbate the effects of an arc flash incident, increasing the risk of fire and burns. After conducting a thorough hazard assessment, the appropriate level of arc-rated clothing can be determined using an arc flash hazard analysis. This analysis calculates the incident energy exposure at the working distance and selects arc-rated clothing with an arc rating that meets or exceeds the calculated incident energy. Arc ratings are expressed in calories per square centimeter. It's crucial to select arc-rated clothing with an arc rating that provides adequate protection for the potential hazards present. It's also important to ensure that the arc-rated clothing is properly maintained and inspected regularly for any signs of damage or wear. Damaged or worn arc-rated clothing may not provide the intended level of protection and should be replaced immediately. In addition to arc-rated clothing, other personal protective equipment may be required to protect against electrical hazards. This may include insulated gloves, safety glasses or face shields, and insulated tools. The specific personal protective equipment required will depend on the nature of the electrical work being performed and the potential hazards present. Training is a critical component of any electrical safety program. Electricians should receive comprehensive training on the hazards of electricity, the proper use of personal protective equipment, and safe work practices. This training should be regularly updated to reflect changes in standards and technology. It's also important to ensure that electricians are qualified to perform the tasks they are assigned. Qualification typically involves a combination of education, experience, and training. Only qualified electricians should be allowed to work on only energized electrical equipment. Safe work practices are essential for preventing electrical accidents. These practices include energizing equipment before working on it, using lockout/tagout procedures to prevent accidental energization, and maintaining a safe working distance from energized parts. It's also important to use insulated tools and equipment and to avoid working in wet or damp conditions. Electrical safety is a shared responsibility. Employers are responsible for providing a safe working environment and ensuring that employees have the necessary training and equipment. Employees are responsible for following safe work practices and using personal protective equipment properly. By working together, employers and employees can create a culture of safety that prevents electrical accidents and protects workers from harm. In addition to the recommendations mentioned earlier, it's also beneficial to consult with organizations such as the National Fire Protection Association and the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. These organizations offer valuable resources and guidance on electrical safety best practices. They also develop and maintain standards and codes related to electrical safety. Staying up to date on the latest standards and codes is essential for ensuring compliance and maintaining a safe working environment. Furthermore, it's important to document all aspects of the electrical safety program, including hazard assessments, arc flash hazard analyses, personal protective equipment selection, training records, and safe work practices. This documentation can be used to demonstrate compliance with regulatory requirements and to track the effectiveness of the safety program. Regular audits of the electrical safety program should be conducted to identify any areas for improvement. These audits should be conducted by qualified individuals who are knowledgeable about electrical safety standards and best practices. Any deficiencies identified during the audit should be promptly addressed. Emergency response procedures should be in place in the event of an electrical accident. These procedures should include instructions for first aid, evacuation, and reporting. Emergency contact information should be readily available to all employees. Regular drills should be conducted to ensure that employees are familiar with the emergency response procedures. Electrical safety is an ongoing process that requires continuous improvement. By implementing a comprehensive electrical safety program, employers can protect their employees from the hazards of electricity and create a safer working environment. This ultimately leads to reduced injuries, improved productivity, and a stronger bottom line. It's also crucial to remember that electrical safety is not just about compliance with regulations. It's about protecting human lives. Every effort should be made to ensure that electrical work is performed safely and that workers are protected from harm. This requires a commitment from both employers and employees to prioritize safety above all else. Furthermore, technological advancements are continuously introducing new tools and techniques for enhancing electrical safety. Examples include remote racking systems, which allow workers to operate circuit breakers from a safe distance, and infrared thermography, which can be used to detect hotspots in electrical equipment before they lead to failures. By embracing these technologies, employers can further reduce the risk of electrical accidents and improve the overall safety of their workplaces. In addition to the technical aspects of electrical safety, it's also important to address the human factors that can contribute to accidents. These factors include fatigue, stress, and complacency. Employers should implement measures to mitigate these factors, such as providing adequate rest breaks, promoting a positive work environment, and encouraging employees to report any safety concerns. A strong safety culture is essential for preventing electrical accidents. This culture should emphasize the importance of safety at all levels of the organization, from senior management to frontline workers. It should also encourage open communication and collaboration so that everyone feels comfortable speaking up about safety concerns. By fostering a strong safety culture, employers can create a workplace where safety is a top priority and where electrical accidents are less likely to occur. In summary, ensuring electrical safety in the workplace requires a multifaceted approach that encompasses hazard assessments, arc flash hazard analyses, personal protective equipment, training, safe work practices, compliance with regulations, and a strong safety culture. By implementing these measures, employers can protect their employees from the hazards of electricity and create a safer working environment for everyone.